So this Superbooth, I'm announcing two big new modules. We've got the Looper, which is a dual channel Looper playback module, and the Arbhar, which is a audio processor and granular module. They're both digital based, but with a lot of analog internals to the circuitry. So the Looper, I designed an analog input preamp channel essentially that is designed to sort of emulate the response of tape. So there's a bit of soft limiting compression to sort of like bring down dynamic range, a little bit of saturation via germanium diodes, and then a fixed low pass filter. Sort of a lot of experimentation, a lot of development to get it responding like a really analog tape recorder. Here, I've got a little radio that I brought along just to sample in bits of audio for demonstration. So let me start some recording. At the moment we're looking at about 5 to 6.5 minutes of record time per loop. The final numbers of that we'll figure out once we've got all the specs optimized, but we're getting very close. It's looking at least 5 minutes. Here I've sampled in a bit of radio. The speed controls are at the top. You can see these LEDs that light up. That will indicate whether it's stalled, whether it's at 0 playback speed. Original forward speed. Original speed in reverse. And it'll go up to 4 times speed forward, 4 times speed in reverse. You can then dynamically change the length, so you can crop down the sample and then change the start position. So a big philosophy behind the design was to create something that was very playable and with lots of visual feedback, because there's so many great loopers out there, guitar pedals, other modules, but it's always quite hard to navigate where you are in the sample. So this way we wanted to create something that you could really get hands-on and really see exactly where you are in the playback location.
The light corresponds to the location.
Exactly, yeah. So the brighter light is the playhead. The backlit thing is showing the loop length. So both loops are independent. What I can do is now monitor from the other side, bring up the input. The output of each loop is normalized to the input of the other. So you end up with, you can get all the sorts of feedback tricks where...
ja, einen schönen Ort zurückstellen kannst, du dadurch nie wieder aufräumen musst.
So this is me listening to the input, and normalized to that second input of the first reel. So what I can do now, I can bounce between decks, so I can fine tune. There we are, that's great. Capture a bit of that. And every time you're recording back and forth, every time it hits the input channel, it's going through this analog compression stage, so you get a compound effect of layering up, overdubbing. So now if I patch out of each one, I can monitor from this auxiliary stage where there's an aux in and an aux out. Each one has a crossfader. So the output one, the crossfader, you're choosing which source you're listening to. Overdubbed a bit there. And the input aux, you can set which reel you're setting as a destination. It's actually self-patching from in to out, and you can flick through between the decks and bounce between the decks very quickly.
It's like the DJ deck for
Eurorack. Exactly, yeah. So you can essentially go through 0 of playback speed, and it will stall and speed back up. And we're sampling at a very high, it'll be 96 kilohertz for the final build, so it gives a lot of resolution when you're stretching out the audio to keep it really clean. CV controls on the module itself. There is CV over the crossfaders for the auxiliaries. You have a retrig input, which you can use in addition to this button to re-trigger jumping back to the start of the playback position. There is a button combination that I can't remember off the top of my head at the moment, but you can set it into a one-shot mode, so you can one-shot trigger the sample playback. The clock output here, if I change this clock division dial, then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way up. We skip a few, but it goes up to 64 divisions. This takes the playback length, and you can think of it as being a ramp for the duration of the playback, and that is divided up into the number of subdivisions. So you can use that as a clock output that's giving you equal subdivisions of the playback. So you can either use that as a clock to control the recording and sampling of external audio. For CV control, it's going to ship with this little 2 HP transport expander, so that just links with a 12-pin ribbon cable in the back, and that gives you CV over length, start position, clock division rate, and arrays for both reels. So we wanted to include control over every aspect, but the face wheel is already getting a little bit crowded. So
pitch control.
Pitch control. The speed is the pitch, so it's true vari speed. Right. So because it goes through 0, it won't do volt per octave, but you've got a lot of range of control over playback speed and pitch. I think that covers at least the majority of the features of the looper. What I can do, I can run it. We're currently monitoring it through the Arbhar, so I'll use some of the source audio here and demonstrate the granular. So we've got input level, wet dry mix of throughput audio and the granular playback, output attenuator, and then for the main granular engine we have 6 buffers: alpha, beta, gamma, delta. Each buffer or layer has 10 seconds of record time, so you can capture 10 seconds of audio into that buffer. The scan pot will change the playback position within that buffer. You can visualize it with the backlit strip here. CV over scan position. The length of the grain is controlled with this pot. It's depicted by the width of the backlighting. That can go up to 3-second long grains that can layer up, and for sure it's 16 grains. I think there are some elements of if you're manually triggering on top of it, it can add up to over 20, maybe 24 or so. Intensity is the density of how many grains are being played back. So let me capture some audio in. You can see there's a record head going through and overdubbing any content that was in the buffer. So I'll mute the input. For grain control, there's dynamic shaping of the grain windowing. At the top it's like a Gaussian curve, so it's very soft, things will blend in nicely. You can get more harsh ramp sausage shapes or up to square waves. Probability control, if it's hard left then every grain will be playing forward. As you dial up to the middle, you'll end up with a coin toss 50-50 option of forward or reverse. Spray will move from the defined scan position forward in time and vary the start point of the grain playback. Variable pitch. There's also a built-in unquantized or quantized pitch variation. This pot, if you dial to counterclockwise, then it's essentially a random sample and hold variable voltage that's being applied to the pitch of every grain. But you'll hear the playback of each grain, it will stay consistent. So as the grain fires, regardless of its length, it will play back at the pitch it was defined. So then, as you change the pitch, it's the following grain that will layer up.